Yo.
Yeah. And this is how preachers act.
This is how preachers act.
On Sunday afternoon.
As soon as we walk out the pulpit. As soon as we walk out the pulpit. What's happening, y'all? It's another Sunday night service, Pastor Jeff.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. We take our collar off and it is over.
We wear cutoff shorts underneath our robes. Y'all don't even
breakaway
know.
chaps.
Yeah, not breakaway chaps.
Oh my God.
Jeff wear them chaps with no butt cheeks on.
Todd take his toupee off.
Not my toupee. Leave my Jerry curl alone, brothers.
Yes, sir.
Man, it's been a day, man. I took all my naps today, so I'm live.
I'm
live,
feeling
man.
a little goofish.
You feel a little goofish?
I'm feeling
tonight?
a little goofish.
Oh man, well Jeff, you spent all week in the Elder Carter's on here. Hey Jeff, wasn't that torture all week long?
Hey, no, I absolutely loved it.
Oh man,
I'm grateful. Hey, Mike, remember when Todd had that Derek Hatton haircut?
Diedrich Hatton. We shouldn't have went live this quick. We should have went on late.
Okay.
Welcome to Testimony Service, Sunday night service. Hello, good morning, good evening.
Hey, everybody, how y'all doing?
We welcome you once, we welcome you twice. We welcome you in the name of Jesus Christ.
All right, we're gonna need a new one next week.
We need a new one.
We're gonna do those welcome.
All right, y'all submit y'all church welcome speeches. Submit your church welcome speeches. Rashad, what's happening? Miss Melanie, what's going on? Thank you so much. She helped care for the babies while I was in Atlanta.
Awesome.
I'm saying, appreciate that. Brought the kids some gifts home from Magic City. So, don't Google that.
Ooh,
don't Google any of that. Man, what's happening in the world today?
Man, everything is, I've been away. I've been in training all week. Great training, but I did miss a lot. I did get to watch some of the highlights, though. I guess you call them highlights, or CNN in the morning. Not CNN, whatever it's on. But
yeah, it was CNN and what's the other people? C-SPAN.
Yeah. So I got to watch a little bit.
The world's most boring station in the history of TV stations.
At least I wasn't watching Fox. So
man,
so what's going on, man?
Ketanji, okay. Jackson Brown, did I say it right? Brown Jackson,
yeah.
Jackson Brown is the band, right?
I don't know.
That's the band. Okay, Ketanji Brown Jackson confirmation hearing.
She is thorough.
First of all, can we just give it up for the beautiful, brilliant black sister, Ketanji Brown Jackson? Religiously correct is in your corner. Honestly, we're the only vote you need.
That's it.
Bunk them senators,
us
man.
And all our viewers.
You don't need Lindsey Graham.
We'll get you. We will get you
Pastor
over.
Todd, Pastor Jeff.
But man, listen, when they asked her, the way she looked, as if that question was,
she gave us some black woman looks.
Yes,
I wish we had a collage.
There should be some memes
of the black. I mean, she gave us all the looks.
Yes.
She said, "Is this nigga talking to me?" she had that look, She gave one of those. I am not one of your little friends. I'm not one of your little friends.
Go play with your mama because
I ain't the one. She gave one of them looks. Go play with your mama because I ain't the one. I mean, she put on. And listen, I feel like these have become circuses.
Absolutely, a circus.
But
the
last two that they're saying,
they're reaching.
But they're saying, well, you did it to our people. That's what they're saying. Well, you did it to ours, so we got to do it to yours. So first of all, they literally nominated like this 12-year-old girl that had never been in a real courtroom before, like 3 hours before Trump got voted out.
Right.
Then they voted in McRapey, Mr. I Love Beer. Half his testimony was about what kind of beers he drinks. And then they compare that to her, regardless of political persuasion. She's a brilliant jurist and judge.
And who literally knows more than all of them put together.
Well, I said it on my Facebook. It felt really pastoral search committee-ish. It felt like a pastoral, because with no disrespect to anybody, love my church. I got church members watching. Honestly, the people who are picking you and questioning you have never done what you do.
You are absolutely right about that.
Never done what you do.
You are absolutely right about
when
it.
she was like asking, like, tried and, tried this and sentences, I would look to Lindsey Graham and say, what have you tried? Who have you sentenced?
Search committee.
Search committee-ish. Pastoral search committee.
Wow. That needs to go in a dictionary.
Hey, this is real pastoral search committee-ish. Like, do you have any expertise? Have you been through this fire? Have you sat in this seat? And I don't mean that disrespectfully towards the people who, my own church, but even they would say, hey, this is not our role. This is your role. But they're the ones asking the questions and making the decisions.
Right.
So, I mean, questions about CRT. Here was a crazy thing. What Lindsey Graham brought up CRT and books that they were reading at a private school, only for it to be revealed. No, it was Ted Cruz.
Okay.
Ted Cruz brought up, CRT and all this other stuff, only to be revealed that his kids go to private school where they teach the same stuff in Texas.
See, I hate that I missed some of it. I got to go back and watch some of this.
That's the definition of a hypocrite.
I got to go back and watch it. That's crazy. That's absolutely ludicrous.
Playing on the pedophile stuff where they said she didn't sentence harsh enough, and turned out that she sentenced right in line with all the other judges in her area, questioning her about her judicial philosophy, which I don't know if you're familiar with that whole thing, but like, how do you read the Constitution and all that? And they want her to be an originalist like Antonin Scalia was. Basically, he's like, whatever the people originally wrote is what it means. I'm like, those people are slave owners, which they're probably fine with.
Oh, they are definitely fine with it.
Heroes.
That's making America great again.
What's up?
But yo, the craziest question was, what is a woman?
What is a woman? Well, didn't we talk about that on the video? What is a woman? Because they want her to define.
Was this the whole non-binary thing?
Yeah, they're trying to pick up the transgender stuff. And honestly, even though I have different perspectives than she might have, but from a legal, civil standpoint, I mean, I stand with Ketanji. And by the way, I'm going to demand you learn her name right.
Please.
Ketanji, just like we wanted to say Kamala, correct? Not Kamala, like the WWE wrestler. Papa Shango.
Listen, you can demand all you want. People gonna say that name wrong to the end of time.
Hey, I knew a church mother looked just like Papa Shango.
Stop. Stop. Shaba.
Papa Shango.
Shaba.
You talking about Shaba Ranks? I knew a church mother looked like Shaba Ranks too. While we talking. But no, man. I mean, I hate to see it, but she stood her ground.
She did.
She held her own. My question is, will there be a Democrat that flips? Manchin has already said he's going to vote for her.
Mm-hmm.
But, I mean, you just can't tell with these people anymore.
Nah, it's up in the air. It's up in the air with our Democratic Party right now. And I think we've been talking about the last couple of weeks.
Yeah. So yeah, I mean, they don't have that same punch you in the face mentality that Republicans do. So I got some punch you in the face mentality before we go. Did anybody else out there in religiously incorrect world kind of wish Clarence Thomas didn't make it out the hospital? Or am I
boo, boo,
is there anybody out there that was kind of hoping?
I mean, just a little bit, just,
I mean, I was getting my remarks ready. My words of comfort.
Here lies.
My words of comfort.
R.I.P.
Charlene said yes.
You knew Charlene was gonna say yes.
Charlene said, tell the truth to shame the devil. I was praying imprecatory psalms. Lord, slay my enemies. I mean, this cat and his wife
wilding out, ain't she?
Bro, she is MAGA.
We
already knew she was MAGA, but she's practically. Welcome to Religiously Incorrect, ladies and gentlemen. She helped send arguments for overturning the election of Mark Meadows. And there was some text messages and statements that she's involved in that he voted not to release.
Wow.
He voted not to release. I mean, this is a mess, man. I mean, the brother should be impeached. And by the way, let's just be clear, man, before anybody says it, if you're a Republican or a conservative or Democrat or whatever, he is not one of us.
At all.
Let's just make it clear.
At all.
He's not one of us. I think we traded him back in Dave Chappelle's race draft 15 years ago.
We gave him up for 15
we gave him up for Steve Nash. we traded Clarence Thomas for Coach Phil Jackson. You're out of here. Well, y'all, that's enough of this. Y'all know what time it is. It's time for
Meme of the Week.
Meme of the Week.
Cause Meme of the Week. Meme of the Week.
Welcome to Religiously Incorrect, ladies and gentlemen.
Meme of the Week. Meme of the
Week. Thank you. Send us your memes of the week.
Meme of the Week. Meme of the Week.
We are, these are all jokes. We are just playing.
When your parents not to have sex before marriage, but you're standing in their wedding photo. Brother, you were a miracle from God. You were the second immaculate conception.
Yes. You just showed up.
I mean, well, how did they answer to that? Be holy as we were not holy?
Do as I do, not as I say. Do as I say, not as I do.
That's hilarious.
Wow.
We smashed, but you can't. You better not do it. And he's probably telling him, man, it was the bomb, but you can't do it. You can't do it. Yeah, man.
You know what I used to do to your mama, right?
Right. Jeff.
Y'all are on one tonight.
Jeff, I don't even know if you're saved anymore.
What, me? He been going the whole time. I say one thing.
This kind of stuff you're going to say to Grayson. This is the kind of stuff Jeff gonna get old senile and say to Grayson. Man,
one day we're gonna have a show about the walk-ins.
You're right.
I'm sorry.
Yeah, there's a lot of stuff church folk tell, especially younger people, not to do, and they only say it because they've already done it and they're past it. I say it all the time. Half of y'all did not get saved, because you were convicted. You just got too old to keep up.
Absolutely.
You got too old. They put you out the club, so you came to church.
Wayne, y'all want to let kids go trick-or-treating, and all y'all was trick-or-treating until 11 o'clock at night.
Worshiping the devil, doing blood sacrifices.
Y'all want y'all kids to go to the clubs. Right. Y'all wore them fish shoes.
Them old players, they put you out with your creased jeans. They wouldn't let you in the club. They had a sign that said, no snapbacks, no creased jeans. He's like, might as well be a deacon.
Y'all pictures is like this.
Might as well join the deacon boys.
All y'all got pictures at Larry's.
In the wicker chair.
In
the wicker chair.
Y'all know that saying, last call for alcohol, real well.
Last call for alcohol. Brothers and sisters, we want to thank our sponsors for supporting Religiously Incorrect, Phillips Care family of businesses, Phillips Care Cleaning Service. I can vouch for them. They do far more than clean. They do cleaning, carpet cleaning, maintenance work, home improvement. I mean, they'll do a little bit of everything. Wood cleaning, deep cleaning. Call my man Fernando at 330-219-7916. Don't waste your time. Let them do it. They serve the Tri-County and beyond. And while you're at it, the snow won't last always. What does Fashawn say? It won't always be like this. You're going to have to get your lawn care done. So check out Phillips Care Lawn Services. They've been in business for over a decade. Call or visit on Facebook at Phillips Care LLC. Lawn care starting at $30. Listen, we get all the freebies. You get no discounts. So don't ask for none. Only the preachers get them.
That's it.
Because we deserve them. Because we are the men of God.
The men of God.
With the D. And if it doesn't have a D on the end, it's not real. That's what makes you holy. You're not holy until you add whole vowels to words that don't exist.
E-D-D-I-E, that spells E.
So check out our sponsors. Tell them Religiously Incorrect sent you. And Jeff, I'm excited about tonight's guest.
We are excited about tonight's guest. I'm going to let Pastor Todd introduce the guest, but we are going to give away two t-shirts tonight. Two religiously. These going to be.
I thought they were halter tops for men.
These are going to be hot sellers, bro.
Hot sellers.
I mean, you might want to keep this in your closet because this might be some Valencia, worth some money.
This is
after a while.
These are Gucci t-shirts.
How are we gonna get these away, man?
I don't know, maybe we'll have some trivia later or see who comments the most. Maybe like I don't know who comments the most. I mean, what do we want to do?
I want to know somebody.
What are y'all drinking? We had communion today, Sister Allen.
I want to know somebody who can name all mine and Todd's kids.
Oh, man. Wait. Are these legitimate kids? Don't name all of them. We're not trying to have these problems. Don't name all of them. I think Shamika's watching. Don't name them all. All right, we're going to give away some T-shirts. Sister Allen, it's been a long day and a long month. So love you, Miss Charlene. Our guest today is one of the most solid dudes I know. He's served in churches. He's a musician par excellence. This guy's done gospel, quartet, R&B, jazz, rock. He does a little bit of everything. One of the funniest cats I know. The realest brothers I know. We love him. Yes, it's Pepsi in this can. Yes, it's Pepsi in this can. I love this brother. Every time he gets on an instrument, he shows out. He's like Warren's own Prince. Cat play like 13 instruments. I think he plays the ukulele, the mandolin.
So he's Warren Zoe.
The pan flute.
He's Warren
Zoe.
Yeah.
Welcome to the stage, Mr. Jody Daniels, real fat JDZ.
Good, fellas.
Yes, sir.
How you feeling?
Hey, first of all, I want to start by saying, y'all had me backstage on this dying because the stuff y'all was talking about, I'm like, man, I've lived that all my life in church. And just to help you out with your trivia, you should have said, hey, we want somebody who can give us a full accurate Bible verse that doesn't say Jesus wept to win a T-shirt. But at any rate, y'all had me feeling a little like I was inadequate. So I had to come and.
Oh, there it is. Welcome to the Apple Call.
Yes, sir.
Welcome to the Apple Call.
I had to match up with y'all, so there you go.
I love it, man. First of all, congratulations on your new album drop. Look at that shirt, y'all. Jody Daniels has dropped an album called Wait, Who?
Yes, sir.
On all streaming platforms except for Spotify, because Spotify is garbage. I'm just saying it for you, even though I use it sometimes.
Thank you.
You can check him out on Apple Music, Amazon Prime Music, YouTube Music. He's got physical media dropping. You can check him out wherever you listen to music. I'm telling you, I've been listening to it. It's on my summer playlist. The windows will be down. The speakers will be bumping. JDZ, congratulations on your album, man. Tell us about that process and what brought that about.
Actually, I did a solo CD probably about 5 years ago, something like that. And the reason why I did that first one is because some of my friends were like, hey, man, you play a little bit of everything. You should do a record. And you know how it is with creative stuff. You have the ones that your heart is really in. And then you have the ones that you do just because everybody suggests you should do it. And so the first one, I did it. It was pretty good. By my standards, it was pretty good. A lot of people were like, yo, it was great. But my heart wasn't in like, I want to do something and stand out and be a soloist. Like when you produce, I guess if your heart is in production, you're kind of happy just being in the background and taking the back seat. So the pandemic, which changed a lot of stuff for a lot of people, cats weren't able to go out and play live. And I literally had just landed some movie stuff and came from Capitol Records and stuff. So the pandemic hits and everything just kind of flatlined. And while I was, in that realm, it was like, okay, I started feeling things on the smooth jazz side. And I'm like, yo, I could do this. Because I'm not really a jazz musician per se. I love it, but I wouldn't call myself one of those lifers that came up playing, George Duke and all of that stuff. I just listened, loved it, and moved on and played other stuff. But over the last year or so, I came up with compositions. And the more I composed, the more I was like, hey, this is pretty good. And boom, you get Wait Who.
Wow.
Wow, that's hot.
Well, it's cool, man.
Brother, you have played for both ends of the spectrum. You know,
Okay.
you played for church and you've played secularly. Is there a huge difference, and is there a side that you sort of lean to? You know, is there a side you sort of lean to?
Absolutely.
Talk to us.
I know there's a whole, you know what, I'm gonna say this, but I expect like there's gonna be like a mother's board and some deacons and stuff to be like picketing outside of my house, and that's fine. They can pick it away because they'll just be standing out there in the cold. I prefer the secular side for a myriad of reasons. One being that there's less
They pay you.
less
They pay you.
on the secular side.
Okay.
On the
Say it again, man. Say it again for the people in the back.
You get to just create, and it is whatever it is, and there's always an audience out there. The problem with the church, and I hope your listeners don't get real mad at me, is I played at a few churches long term. Like I was one of those dedicated dudes. I didn't like hop through churches, but I played at churches where you had Negroes that could not sing, but they loved to try and tell me how to do my job. And I'm like, but I'm teaching you the parts. You don't even know what your part is, but you want to tell me how to do my job. So It got to a point for me with one church in 14 years where there was an anxiety about walking in there. It was a heaviness before I had to do it. The day before, I'm feeling like bad, just physically bad. Like I got to do this again. And I honestly felt there was a lot of people that no matter how talented you are in the church, all they cared about was that you were talented. They didn't care about you, the person, or even the depth of your gift or what you go through to be that good. My man mentioned Zoe. I remember when Zoe wasn't even playing bass. Like Zoe used to sit on front benches watching me play bass. He was a drummer. Then he started playing bass and he grew into this monster. And we used to, between him, my boy Black Rose, Mike Pearson, a whole bunch of us, we played in churches all our lives, every weekend, and nobody appreciated what we were growing into, as long as we were just there to play. So, you know, secular wise, you go out there, they appreciate it more, less drama and less pressure, and they pay you more. I mean, I'm not going to lie and make it like, you know, there isn't a discrepancy monetarily. There is.
Right. Absolutely, man. And I mean, I think one thing I hate is that we have to deal with, and we try to be upfront, real pastors, certainly not perfect.
Right.
But we have to deal with the fact that people hide behind spirituality as a cover for their ignorance and bad behavior, you know, and then when they're out of pocket, you know, there's the pride, not wanting to apologize, just own up to it and show some love and grace and say, yo, I was wrong about that I was out of, you know, we always got a scripture for everything. You know, we want to try to justify by positions and titles. I'm this, I'm that. I'm like, no, I'm still just a man, just a brother, just like anybody else. And it doesn't matter what name is on my door or, you know, if I'm wrong about something, I don't want to get beat down like the next man. But I think I'm a bigger man if I just admit it. And honestly, musicians probably get the bulk of that more than anybody else in the church next to the pastor, if the pastor actually gets that, because some of them are just dudes that people don't want to deal with anyway. But because the musicians have the talent and there's such a dependency, I'm baffled as to how people can be so abusive and condescending to individuals who, quite frankly, 80 to 90% of the church musicians who are capable don't have to be giving themselves to the church the way they do. And we think that because sometimes it's a laid back, they ain't holy, rolling on the floor all the time, that they're not playing out of their passion, when the very fact that you're taking whatever that church is willing to give you or able to give you is a sign that you're doing it out of passion all by itself.
That's good.
Like the fact that, hey, they can only give me 100 to do this service and I'm still giving my all. I'm not playing according to what they're paying. I'm playing according to what I got to offer because I'm giving my best. And they still, you know, don't appreciate it. I can't put, no disrespect, the usher in the same lane. I can't put the parking lot attendant or even the Sunday school teacher in the same lane because it takes something extra, I think, for a musician to give that. And then we play that game where there are musicians and then there are minstrels. I'm like, nigga, y'all all playing keyboards. I mean, what? You know, there are musicians, and then there are songs of the Lord.
Psalmist. Yeah.
Yeah, psalmist. Yeah.
But wait a minute, let me give you an alternate view. So you got people who are saying, okay, you know, they aren't playing completely to their level of passion. I've heard that stuff about me and other guys. But isn't it funny that we could come in every week and play pretty much the same thing and get the same shout reaction out of you?
Ooh.
Same wave my hand reaction out of you. As long as we're playing what you're used to, we get that same reaction. So is your passion there, or are you just doing what you programmed to do because you hear us do what we always do?
It's that dog whistle, Doc. It's that dog whistle. You know, I would go to churches that claim to be Holy Ghost. And I'm not saying you don't have the Holy Ghost, but if I know y'all gonna shout at 10:23, and I know exactly who's gonna catch it first.
They're gonna do it for 35 minutes too.
Yep. You know exactly what time. So I mean, that has to be stressful, but have you gotten to a place, and maybe you're there now? Have you gotten to a place where you're like, you know what? I don't really need to do church music or play for a church to love God or have a relationship with God. Have you ever been at that place? And do you think you'll ever get out of that place? I mean, just want to hear your take on that.
My experience with the last church I played for put me there. Like someone asked me the other day, well, when's the last time you played for church? I said, September of 2019. They're like, really? And I'm like, yeah. And they're like, and you're okay with that? I said, I am absolutely fine with it. If I never play for a church ever again, if I never record another gospel song commercially for someone, produce one, I'm okay with that, because I spent decades with that being such a horrible experience that I'm okay never doing it again.
Wow.
So you have a lot of pastors now who are literally, they're not even looking for, I don't even think they're looking for saved anymore. You have pastors who are looking for
capable,
and they're literally, they're hiring musicians, they're hiring songstress, song of the Lord, whatever you want to call it.
The Lord's psalmist.
Yes. But I mean,
David's.
Do you feel that's something that we should be doing, or something that should be done? I mean, or, you know, then you have the other side of the story where they say, I want sons and not servants. I don't want hirelings. But I mean, for one, you're hiring somebody one way or another.
Right.
So, you know what I mean? So what's your take on that, man?
The history of the Black church, I can't speak on white churches or any other, setup. The history and culture that we've created with the Black church has put it to where a lot of churches don't have any choice but to hire who's capable.
Wow.
Because for the longest, you had guys, I know some dudes in this area, man, who are the dopest dudes, the most dangerous dudes that you could take into other states, other countries, and they will hold their own, who are making less than $300 a month playing for a church. The dopest dude. And so when you do that for so long and you kind of like create that situation where it's like, okay, yeah, I want you here. I want you to do all these things. I want you to be at Bible study and Sunday school. And then I want you to rehearse twice a week, or all these choirs, and do all this, teach this, that, and kind of make the church your life. But I don't really want to pay you a lot. And then I also want to be able to dog you whenever I feel like it. You kind of run out of the out. So now you're dealing with, like now, and I know Pastor Todd, you know what? We ain't correct today. I know Todd went through this at various points with certain musicians, like where he would lose one and it was a search to find another one.
Right.
Because most of the best dudes are either not going to mess with the church, or they're already locked into something that's, lucrative for them or what have you. And it's hard to find them because most people have been like, they've dealt with a lot of craziness and don't want to play in church anymore. So you have a situation where a lot of pastors are forced to just get the best that they possibly can get. Then you have some clowns who have some of the best.
Yeah.
And still don't understand that most of the reason why the little bit of congregation they do have come because those dudes that they act a fool on are the reason why people show up.
Right.
It ain't them preaching, because all they ever preach is how everybody is the most rotten Christian ever and they're going to hell.
Right. Yeah. I heard a preacher say the other night in Atlanta, that black church is a musical and artistic endeavor. And without the music and the arts, without the musicianship, you're done. And that's not a knock, because we do have fire preaching in some cases when you do have somebody who is concerned about teaching the word in a balanced way. But without that, which honestly, you can say that about Black culture. We're a musical, artistic culture. And so the Black church is an extension of that. And I think that there is a reckoning that has already occurred, the scramble that churches have created for themselves. We're upset. Many of us, and I'll say us, can be upset because we feel like, okay, the bigger churches, some have gotten it right. Some look like they got it right and they don't. They just pay enough that sometimes cats can't walk away, or they can keep people coming in. But there's a reckoning where musicians have, like Jody and others, he's not the only one. He might be the most outspoken one, but there might be others who feel the exact same way, but have spoken with their feet. They've spoken with their hearts. They've spoken with their passion. Yeah. So they might not have put a post up and said, y'all are garbage, because they don't want to do that. But at the same time, the mistreatment and the lack of appreciation. So technically, somebody could say, Pastor Todd, you got a bunch of hirelings. Right now, in my church, none of my musicians are technically members of Second Baptist. They're not technically on the roll members. But because I come from being a musician, I've been a musician, and I was blessed that my father and the ministry when I was a young man treated us right and well. They took care of us. They taught me the right way to do things, to the point to where I was aghast at what I was hearing from my friends who played at other churches. I'm like, yo, you need a keyboard and they won't buy you one? Your organ need fixed and they won't do that? So I treat even the guys that are not technically members of our church, and I can honestly say the church does too, like family.
Absolutely.
Like, we care about you. We got one brother who's sick. He has family members who are sick. And we know he has to slip out. He comes to play for us so he can go home and take care of his family member. Matter of fact, 2 of them have sick family members that are going through. And we try to show that love. If you're late, it's not, man, we docking you. Because you were, we don't know what you went through this morning. That everybody else sliding in when they get good and ready, including half the folk on the staff.
Right.
Like what am I, including half the folk that got degrees. They show up when they get good and ready.
You're right.
So
right.
I feel like, first of all, I was raised in music, so I know what it's like to see unappreciation, but I also know what it's like to be appreciated. And when guys walk in the door, even if I can't compete with that church that could pay $1,000, 50 minutes away, I can say, you need strings, we got you. You need sticks, we got you. I'll make sure you never play on garbage. I'm not going to keep you here all day long. Every time if I'm getting a check, you're getting a check. A week-long revival, make you come with me, drag you behind me and throw you a chicken wing and say that's and you're doing it for the Lord. I didn't preach for the Lord. I walked home with an offering. Like, why would I expect the musicians to do any different? And I feel like the ones who won't reckon with that, they're going to die out in the cold. And I want every musician, honestly, to be free from that, because I think there's enough good guys, if given the chance, would take guys on the right way, and young ladies the right way. And I think the church has to reckon with itself and that idea. We have to think more about people as humans before we think about their gift. You are more than what you do for me, making me sound good, making church rock. We have to say that, not just over the pulpit, but the way we treat people. How's your family, man? How you doing? You feeling all right? You good? Is everything cool? We got to bring that in to the, and it's sad. It's 2022 and cats still don't understand that.
I mean, it's that, when I was with you, you know what I mean? And you taught me so much, just taking your ministerials out to eat, taking your ministers out to grab wings and asking the musicians to come with you. That's just something, that's a whole nother level of that whole family thing. Here's the question I want to ask you. Do you want to respond to what he said real quick before I ask your question?
Hey, sure, I will. See, Pastor Todd saw where I put up I was advertising this show tonight, and I put a little comment in there and said, "What's the over under on me saying something offensive on the show tonight?"
I got money on it, Doc. Come on.
I was in that situation. I was in that situation where no matter how sick I was, I was dedicated. I would always get questioned. Well, I thought you was doing this for the Lord. By a Negro who has a complete salary, gas allowance, live in the church's house and stuff. And I'm like, how dare you ask me that when everything you even are is provided by them? But then, out of that bitterness, because I've known, Todd for quite a minute. After that happened, this brother has done more about caring about me. I'm not even playing at his church. I'm not a member of this church, but when something happens, he always on it and reaches out. And he's done more than any of the pastors, the previous churches I played for have done in just the last 2 years. So when you say I'm about taking care of my fellas, listen, the money is nice, but it means more that you are who you are to them. And they recognize that, and that's why they're loyal to you, because you're just a good person. And it's cool. Like, here's the one thing no one ever says about playing in church. Most of us who have played in church don't have a safe place. We don't have it with the one we live with. We don't have it with our family. We don't have it with maybe our home church because we're over here playing for so-and-so and not at the home church. So for you to offer your musicians a safe place means more than any money you're paying them.
Wow. That's revelation, man.
That is.
And that's coming from the heart.
That's straight. I mean, a safe place. And we definitely need to check with that, man. That's major. That's
absolutely
major. I just wanted to bring it up because I know it's out there. Is there, I don't even know how I want to say that, a unwritten unionized clause that has come with musicians now? Because I mean, the scale has went up. Yeah, I mean, I know everything is
inflation, Doc. It's inflation, Doc. That
but
beef costs more.
The scale that went up. I remember, and I mean, I can't say Micah started out playing for me. Micah started out Hall. Yeah, he started out playing for me a long time ago. And I can't afford Micah no more. Micah would come for me because he started out with me when he loved me. And he knew. I mean, I would give Micah, what the church gave me, I go to the ATM and give him a little something else. You know what I mean? Because I'm like, man, you cold. He came with me to play for you, and now he's where he is.
Yeah, he's doing wonderful.
Now he's doing great things. But the scale is up here now. Most musicians want more than what the pastor makes.
Do they really? Do you think?
I don't think so. I really don't.
What's the
it depends on the musician. It depends on the musician in the church and the instrument.
Yeah. We're talking about keyboard players now.
Okay, we're talking about organists.
Before I address that, next time you see Micah, please ask him about back when he was a little boy singing with his daddy's gospel group. Because I grew up underneath his dad, and his dad grew up underneath my dad. So that's how far back I go with Micah, and his brothers and sisters and his father and all that. So yeah, Micah.
I feel Jerry curls and afros on that piece. It's Jerry curls and afros. Afro scene for days.
Marshall had that. Marshall still got that, Jerry.
Marshall still got it. So yeah,
he got that grease, Doc.
Back when Marshall was playing with the Claptons.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, the Claptons. But monetarily, I don't think the guys go into a situation with a hard number as opposed to saying, okay, what's required with the circumstance.
Okay.
And part of that is kind of like a little crazy because I think it's insane when you go and sit down with a pastor and they say, hey, man, I need an organist. So, okay, what you need me to do? Well, I need you to play for, Sunday morning service, and we might have some outside stuff or whatever and play for my choirs. Okay, well, when are you having these rehearsals? Well, I need you to rehearse the choir like twice a week. And he'll have you rehearsing a whole choir that can't sing twice a week. They've been doing the same thing for 30 years and sound the same. and you got these operatic sopranos who are like 80 years old. You're never going to teach them anything different. And so then the requirements become really crazy. So now you start to put that money, like that number there. And it's like, okay, I need this to deal with that. And that's where some of the conundrum comes with, the money. But for me, I never actually went to a situation and saying, okay, I need this. No matter what instrument it was, whether I was the organist, bassist, drummer, or whatever, I didn't have a hard number. But what happens is, for a lot of dudes, they'll get that number and they'll be okay with it. And it'll roll fine. And for 5-6 months or whatever, it's fine. And then more responsibility gets put on, and then the number stays the same. And that's where the problem comes in.
Got you.
That makes sense.
Got you.
That makes sense. And, one of the models of that I like to call simple church, first of all, we were raised in the era of too much church.
Absolutely.
Let's just be clear here. Yeah. And half the time, this too much church was just for a core group of people who had no life, nothing better to do with themselves, dudes that like to hear themselves talk, people rubbing each other's backs and feeling obligated to invite each other to each other's churches, 7-week anniversaries where you got a speaker every week and every Wednesday. And so then we drag musicians and singers and staff into that world, people who just wanted to serve and help. But because we were obsessed with church, I like simple church. We did go back to 2 services in the pandemic, but I was happy with 1. I do 2 now because it does make sense, but it's a simple service where I'm like, look, all I really need you for, not to diminish anything, is 2 or 3 songs for an hour and a half. I'm not calling you back for pastoral night on Friday nights. I'm not calling you back for made up revivals on Tuesday. I'm not calling. And if I do call you because I got called somewhere and I'd like you to travel with me, I'm going to make sure you're straight. But even the afternoon services, I'm like, yo, can we minimize the 4 o'clock joints? Can we not do the everybody's tired anyway? And I'm demanding a fire service out of a bunch of folk that's all, they chicken sleepy. They greens, come on, y'all. Greens is on the brain. Put your hands together. Whole church smell like chicken and Vaseline. And I want people to have church again. It's like, leave that alone. So what I'm saying is, we learned from the white evangelical churches is one thing I'll give respect to.
Absolutely.
Because I'm not a big fan of a lot of our white evangelical churches and the way they operate sometimes, but they've learned that it really doesn't have to be your entire life all the time. Now, that doesn't mean that I'm going to use that as a weapon to diminish the value of who's serving, but I'm also not asking them take $150 a week and I'm calling on you 7 days a week. Mm-hmm. That's insane. That to me, I wouldn't, that's not even gas money.
Right.
And then on top of that, we usually give substandard equipment. We make you, like you said, work with people with unreasonable expectations. Like, we're asking you why the person we've been listening to for 50 years sound the way they sound. It's like they sounded that way when you were a baby and they was up in the choir and they was in the senior choir then. We got like a bunch of Morgan Freemans in the choir that's been 100 years old for 100 years. And we want to know why they sound the way they sound. It can't be the new guy's fault.
It can't be. So
I just feel like the pandemic gave one grace to everybody. For most of us, it simplified our operations.
Cut it in half.
It cut our operation.
Some, man. But there's cats up and down the street from you, whatever. Their ego needed to go back to what they have been doing. And the problem is that 2022 is a much different time than 1982.
Right.
So what people have going on and what's being dealt with, people are working longer and harder for less money. And they got more responsibilities and things going on around their lives than they did. I mean, in 82, we had 3 channels, maybe might have had, HBO or some mess like that. But, it's like go outside and play with the kids or whatever. It wasn't that complicated. Now people, it's a full-time job just to do your daily living. So when you have churches who are making demands on not only the congregation, but you got these guys who, some of these musicians work regular jobs and they have kids and they want to be able to attend their child's football game or volleyball game or whatever the case may be. And they want to be able to go shopping or take their kids. Man, I did 14 years at the church and never got a vacation.
Jesus.
Like literally in 14 years, I might have missed 3 Sundays, maybe 4 rehearsals in 14 years. And even with all of that, I was there more than anybody else in those 14 years. Tithe more regularly than anybody. Like nobody can say they tithe more than me. They may have financially, but as far as consistently every week, did all of that. And it wasn't even my church. And I still got questioned on my loyalty to God, my loyalty to the church, my loyalty to whatever they was trying to do. And it's like, yo, I need a break. You go on vacation. But when you go on vacation, Brother Daniels, I need you to, make sure you take care of blah, blah, blah while I'm gone. So you could come back and do what you've been doing. And then you're never thinking about, well, Brother Daniels need a break. So people get burnt out. That's why you see me posting all the time. I'm like, yo, man, I can't do a 90-minute sermon. I can't. And I grew up in church. But it becomes too much when you're hearing the same thing you heard when you were 7.
Right. Well, half the time they're not even preaching to new people. I can see if you was preaching to folk that ain't heard it before, like people actually came into the church and you're excited to share what you know. I want to switch gears a little bit. We're talking with Jody Daniels, CEO, producer, musician, comedian extraordinaire, and I want to talk about that a little bit. Living on the edge.
Okay.
Now, I know, in spite of all you've been through, you're still a church boy at heart. You love God. It's always going to be a part of it. There's folk out in the world ain't been to church in 30 years, and if the church is in them, is in them.
Absolutely.
Now, you have a public persona, though.
Okay.
You are well known. You're opinionated. You jokes, the memes are always fire. People want to know where you get them from. Where is this meme factory at that Jody gets all the fire stuff? So my question is, how often and how do you feel when you get pushback from people? And let's go back to whether you're playing for a church or just Christians who are like, that's too far. Have you felt like people would have hired you and decided to shy away from you because of your sense of humor, or you curse, or they see a drink on your timeline, or whatever? Like, how do you deal with that living on the edge? Because I had to get over being judgmental because I was raised in a very conservative household when it concerns personal behavior. Hilarious, wicked sense of humor, but you better not say no words. Alcohol is taking you straight to hell and all that. And my parents weren't saying it like that, but it was assumed. I got some holiness friends that literally lived trapped.
Right.
Literally lived trapped. Like they feared literal hell for the simplest things. How do you feel living on the edge where you have a persona, you have a sense of humor, you appreciate the female sex, God's creation? There is a God somewhere. How do you balance that act, or do you even try to anymore?
Okay. Yeah, they go pick at me. There was a point in a previous situation where the pastor of this church was so threatened by my personality that he started writing into the contracts what we could say on social media, only because of me. And I wasn't a member of his church, and I was looking at it like, wow. And it didn't hit me at that time. Okay, this is the type of personality you have, dude, with people, to where this dude is so threatened, he got to make contracts to basically say what you can and cannot say. So I walked that line. It was like, okay, all right. Because they was paying me a lot of money. Don't get me wrong. But it got to the place to where there was things I wanted to express that it felt like I was going to explode because I couldn't. And I said, okay, something is wrong here where everything I'm supposed to be has to be what he says I need to be versus what it is that I just feel that I am. Like, I felt disconnected from God because it was like, all right, this isn't me. It doesn't feel real. What I'm presenting isn't who I am. And like me, I'm like really not judgmental. Like if you in the church, and y'all was talking earlier before you brought me in about how folks used to be with the whole wedding and what they used to do and hate smashing. I don't care nothing about that because that's not my life. And in the end, God is not going to ask me about sister or brother so and so.
Right.
I'm
Right.
really judged like that. So I got to a place to where towards the end, even though I was under contract and wasn't supposed to say this and that and the other, I was pushing that envelope like, okay, I gotta say this. And if he got something to say, it's gonna be a problem. And I'm gonna tell him about him. And he probably knew that. So when I left, I still kind of had some of that heaviness, like, okay, you can't say this because church folks, you can't do this because you can't post this. And then one day I woke up and was like, okay, I don't feel like being heavy on behalf of other people. Like, I don't feel like being some other Jody to make them happy. When no matter what I do, they're gonna talk about me anyway. So why don't I just be me?
Right.
And
Right.
when it became that, literally every week now, somebody will say, "Hey man, I'm glad you posted blah blah blah." And I'm like, okay, they're like, because I feel that I can't say that. I felt this. This is funny, but I can't post it. But this made my whole week, and I'm like, why are so many people afraid to just be like, "Yeah, I love God, but I'm not." They say it, but they don't live.
Right.
They don't pages, and they can post all the scriptures they can post, and they might, with their singing self, try to sing a hymn or something to make people believe their holiness. When in all actuality, God still knows that you still be out here in the streets hoeing.
Tell him.
He know you doing this. You know you doing.
He knows.
He knows when you've been good or bad.
He knows when you've been sleeping. He knows when you're awake.
He know when you've been clapping. So
listen, clapping for Jesus. This is religiously incorrect.
I'm not saying you have to put all your business out there in the street, but I think that it's a misnomer to make it like you're the paragon of virtue or sainthood when everybody around you, the people who come to your page, know that ain't even you.
So how far for Jody, outside of anybody else's expectations, how far is too far for Jody?
Okay. I think that when you get to the point to where you're just hurting, like you're directly hurting people's feelings, because the balance that I deal with, or the issue I deal with, is I'll post something and it'll just be funny. You'll come over and laugh and we'll talk about it. And then there'll be some chick in Arizona that I don't know who's ultimately offended. And I'm like, well, you do know that I wasn't thinking about you when I posted that, right? I haven't thought about you since you added me, but okay. I think that when it becomes directly offensive, then that's going too far. Like, I'm not about to get on and post something on my boys or, some of my sisters or whatever directly and just like down them. Other than that, everything is fair game. Like, folks was in their feelings about us clowning Gladys Knight. I'm like, she can get it too. None of us know her.
She can get it on the midnight train to Georgia.
Not the queen.
All the way to Georgia. But
right.
For me, like, I wouldn't. Let's say you and I had a disagreement. It would be too far for me getting on my page saying something. Like, we're real men. We're gonna like call each other whatever and say, okay, let's work this out. You know what I'm saying? It'd be too far when I decide to go behind you and get on my page and trash you out. No, and even if we fell out about something, you've been way too good for me to do that. Like, I think that's going too far.
I feel it.
That's cool.
I feel it.
Listen, I want to switch up a little bit myself. I know we didn't kept you on here talking about church all day, so I want to switch you up a little bit, man.
Where am I going? Sunday night service?
Right. Listen, you came on and you talked about, you name dropped, you talked about Black Rose, love Black Rose, my boy, grew up with him and everything, man. You doing a whole lot, man, with your records, man. Is you out there working with anybody else out there, man? Any other name drops you can?
Well, two of the guys that were on my project, and like a lot of people, I didn't really say who all was on my record. People assumed. So out of the 14 songs, I was playing everything except for some songs that had piano, like piano solos. So there's like two songs where I have Michael Lloyd, who's an amazing musician and preacher out of Atlanta, by way of Pittsburgh and LA. he's on 2 songs, and then my boy Robert Johnson, who's out of Canton, played on like 3 songs. So like, like the other 9 was all me, and I played all the other instruments. So working with those 2, I want to continue that. But then Rob has a daughter named Desiree Johnson, and she's amazing. And the world has just kind of like opened up on things that we're able to do. And a childhood brother of mine named Rodney Powell, he goes by the name of Rock Most. This cat is like a dope MC, but he's real conscious, and he was raised right. So it's like I trust him when he flows on stuff. So those 2 are primarily the people that I'm working with, as well as some prospects of with film and TV. So that's about it. I'm kind of narrowed down. Working on Jody.
That's awesome, man. We're talking Living on the Edge with Jody Daniels on Religiously Incorrect podcast. We're going to be winding down the conversation, which has been a wildly fun conversation. But we want you, if you have any questions you want to ask Jody, to some of our viewers who are regular viewers who haven't had a chance to meet this brother, to some of you who are fans and you've been friends with Jody, follow him on IG, on Instagram, on Facebook. I got 2 questions for you. The first question is, you do a lot of travel. You work with a lot of artists. You work with a lot of bands. What's some of your favorite gigs that you've gotten to do? You've been with Barry Ivan White. You've been with, what's my man? The sax man. What's my man you brought to Warren?
Matt Corey.
Yeah, Matt Corey. You got the Gentillectual crew. You got different people that you work with. What's your favorite type of gig that you just get to go be a part of or contribute to? Maybe it's the tour stuff. You've done some work, New Year's Eve parties, I mean, all different types of things. What really gets your juices flowing?
I would say it's a tie between the international stuff that I do with Barry Ivan White, because being in another country is just an experience, man. It's like, and the musicians that I play with when I hit with them, they're just on another level. It'd be, like I said, a tie between that and when I'm with Matt and we do the NFL stuff. The NFL stuff is always amazing.
Man, that sounds amazing.
Yes.
Hey, my son-in-law, Trey Cole, told me to tell you what's up, man. I don't know if...
You know what? Trey was a little dude in the choir, kids choir, back when I was at Friendship. Always been an amazing young man. And you tell him I said hello and that I love him. And I hope he's doing well, because he was great, man. He was wonderful.
He's doing well. He better be. He's married to my daughter.
Your daughter.
Hey, here's a question for you, man. And you've been honest the whole time, so we want you to stick with that, man.
Here we go.
Who owe you money, Doc?
Who owe you money? Who owes you money, Doc? We ask all musicians this. Who needs to pay JBZ?
Listen, Spotify owes me money, a lot of money. That's the reason my new project isn't on Spotify. There's a couple pastors who owe me some money, and I even have relatives who I've done whole projects for who owe me thousands of dollars.
Sheesh. Jesus. You need that. What's that? Tanya Harding, Joey Buttafuoco. You need one of them. You need one of them with somebody with a crowbar to just go to work.
You're right. Work.
I got a question, man. Why does Mark Zuckerberg hate you so much, man? What did you do to Mark Zuckerberg that you keep getting canceled from Facebook and IG like every other week, man? What is it about Jody that attracts this attention from Facebook.com?
I am a complete thinker. And not to say that people who are on IG, Instagram, Snap, whatever, aren't thinkers, but sometimes we don't go as deep as the circumstance presents. And me, I'm one of those people who look at something and I'll say, okay, this is fine, but there's 2 things I got to do. I got to follow the trail of the money, and I got to follow the origin. Like, why did we get from that to this? And I'll say it. And so I'm sure Zuckerberg, while I'm not world famous, I'm sure he knows who I am, because I'll say whatever about him too.
They be like, cannot tag real fat. He has violated too many policies.
I'm trying to tag you.
You talking about Instagram. You know about Instagram is that what they claimed that I did, they said that I put up too many posts that were false about the vaccine. And I'm like,
oh, wow.
How I put up too many posts? And if you go and look at my activity, there's nothing in there about me violating anything about that. So I'm like, y'all just
that's hilarious. You are a Facebook convict, man. You are a Facebook repeat offender.
A little earlier, we was talking about Derek Dixie and him doing the things with Beyonce.
Yeah.
We talk about Garrison and all the things he's doing. He's doing big things all the time. Who is somebody you want to look for? What's your wish list of somebody you like to work with?
Who do you want to work with? I
like that. Who do I want to work with? Well, the person I wanted to work with most, unfortunately, passed away. That would have been MJ. Mike was my cat, and I actually had an opportunity to do some church stuff back when I was younger. I didn't get that opportunity, but now it would either have to be Bruno or Justin. Like those two dudes, I think we kill something.
Yeah. Wow. Yeah, absolutely. And Big Mike got something.
That female side, I would love to work with Demi because she's talented, but that's like low key wifey. So yeah.
I feel it. I feel it, man. Wife her up, Doc.
All right, Jody, I have a question for you. Top 5 producers.
Top 5 producers.
Okay, well, you cannot even start the list without saying Quincy. Like everything that dude has done was just like on some whole other level. So I would say Quincy, my big brother, like, cause we're close and this cat is just dope. Chucky Booker.
Yeah.
One of the tightest dudes you're ever gonna run across as far as production is concerned. Timbaland is like that dude. Like what he did for the genre, the culture, was just unmatched. I gotta give it to Dre because Dre was closest to what we do in Ohio. Like the way we groove, he was on the West Coast grooving like we do in Ohio. So he gets all kinds of love for what he did with that. And you know what? I probably am going to catch a little fire for this because a lot of people don't know who he is. But there was a gentleman by the name of Rod Temperton. Rod Temperton. And you've heard his stuff. You just didn't know you heard his stuff. I'll give you one song Rod did. Rock With You was actually like Temperton primarily. And his grooves were crazy. So I would say that would be my top 5. I know cats are out there like, what about Dilla? And I have love for all of them cats, but when it comes to who changed the game, like I look at a producer and say, what is their work and how did they change things for me and other cats? So when you get into cats like, niche things, it's like, fine, they're great, but their crossover wasn't there. Whatever. Every dude I named had crossover, they had mega hits, and they bring the fire.
Listen, y'all, I need somebody right now to give me 2 of Jody's songs. I mean, y'all need to go look them up, grab them right now. Give me two songs.
Of Jody's songs.
2 of Jody's songs. That means y'all got to look it up, download it, whatever y'all got to do. Y'all got about 5 minutes.
We want to get some t-shirts away.
We want to give some t-shirts away. So whoever the first person to give me 2 of Jody's songs.
And leave my illegitimate kids out of this.
Okay, so wait a minute. Can I flip the script a little bit?
Yeah,
so you're asking me questions, which is fine because that's what I'm here for. But to each of you,
all right,
y'all give me y'all's top 5 producers as pastor.
I don't know music, so y'all, you got the wrong person.
Okay,
my top 5 producers.
Since you don't know music, you give me your top 5 non-gospel artists.
Top 5 non-gospel artists. Bruno Mars one. He's killer. I'm a Drake cat, man. I love Drake.
Drake
I think Drake is cold. Eminem.
Eminem.
That's all I listen to at the gym when I go. Eminem. Who else?
Are we talking old Eminem or newer Eminem?
Mostly old. I can't even get hip to the new stuff. I ain't really well. Dre obviously. Dre is that dude, man. Always have been, always will be.
Okay.
And last, I'm trying to think of somebody who
So wait a minute, you ain't
R.
listening.
Kelly, man. R. Kelly.
Man, you going to hell.
Kelly.
You going to hell, man.
I don't care. R is dope. I don't care what y'all say. Y'all can say anything y'all want to say. Free R. Kelly. The brother's bad.
I got a story to tell. This guy gonna have R. Kelly doing praise and worship at his church. R. Kelly live at Progressive Baptist. Dr. White,
I don't see nothing wrong.
No, let me get my 5. Let me get my 5. Let me get my 5. I got to get my 5 in. I want to stick with the question of a non-gospel artist. I'd rather do that one because I think that's more fun. Definitely Bruno Mars, and I love the vibe he had with Anderson .Paak.
Yes.
I love the Silk Sonic.
I don't
vibe.
like it as much as I like the record Bruno, but go ahead.
I love the Bruno and Anderson .Paak. I'm a huge PJ Morton fan.
Yeah.
I'm a massive PJ Morton fan, and I'm an old schooler. I'm a Prince fan to the bones.
Yeah, we all know.
Stevie fan to the bones.
Yeah.
And believe it or not, I'm a Marvin Gaye fan to the bones.
I believe that.
The vocals, the passion. This brother was preaching in songs, the way he could work a crowd. I mean, oh man, I missed it. Mid Condition. Where I've been at?
Condition. Oh yeah. I'm gonna tell you who a lot of cats slip on. Tony Terry. Tony Terry was ridiculous.
He was hot. Tony.
Those are my
Devontae Swain back in the day.
Devontae Swain.
Yeah.
I was raised on bands. I wanted to hear bands' real music. I almost would rather hear a live version. I'm not talking about singing with a track. I want to hear what you can do. Watch rappers do it like Jay-Z. When they throw a real band behind their flow, when they recreate their album with a live band, to me, there's nothing more fire than that when you can do that well. You could take something to the stage. I'd rather hear a live version and let me hear your band kill it.
So I'm surprised that you didn't bring up, since you said old school, you didn't bring up my uncles, Earth, Wind, and Fire.
Oh man, they're hot, but I've just never been on that. I've seen them live. I mean, they're beasts, but for some reason, that I'm more of a grimy funk, like a George Clinton, James Brown.
I can see that.
And you know what? And we've talked about this, Jeff. That's what feeds my perspective of modern gospel, because old school gospel used to have the griminess of old school funk and soul. And now the new stuff is too popish for me. It's too bubblegum for me. And I'm like, I want something that you can growl to. I want something that you can cry, you sweat. You know that whether it's a club where R&B singer is singing or a church, I want it to stink. I want to feel like this song stinks.
I'll say it now and I'll say it forever. I don't think there's no greater record, CD, tape, anything besides Fred Hammond's Pages of Life. That was it for me.
It was a book.
That was it for me.
But I like John Key because he obviously had unsaved people playing for him. He obviously had sinners in his band.
John Key ain't saved.
He ain't saved. I mean,
it was, but I mean, honestly, I think that there was something a little prior to that one that might have had a little more grime to it, and a couple things after. I mean, most of that commission stuff could get grimy. Like when they would do that typical stuff, it was like, because that's Fred, that's that Detroit feel.
They would send girls home after the show on that one. they would send after them shows.
But when it got to Pages of Life, which I love, don't get me wrong, but the one I give the nod over Pages of Life, that Mary Mary Incredible CD all the way through was grimy.
Yeah.
Wow.
It had that Rodney Jerkins feel. It had that groove feel all the way. Yeah.
And anybody answer the question?
Yeah, we had some answers.
Okay.
We got Tammy. Tammy answered first. We had about Driving While Funk and We Can Get It. Oh, that's off the new jam.
Yeah, it is. Okay, I'll see you, Tammy.
She's one of the first ones at the top, but there was somebody else after her. I think it was Desiree. Desiree popped in, Slow Jazz. And it's the funk for me.
See, here's the thing. Those two songs right there that she said, her daddy playing on.
Yeah, she got the inside.
We didn't get no rules to it.
Now, did y'all see Sherry? Go down to Sherry, because Sherry was talking about Stokely Williams. Sherry loves her.
Oh my God.
Some Stokely.
Sherry will walk to see Stokely to Akron.
Sherry will eat him alive on stage. You know I love you, Mama Sherry, but you turned into a whole other kind of saint when Stokely Williams is on stage.
When he be up at Tangiers,
she
be in the house.
Row seat with the church hat.
With the church
hat.
That is cool. That is true.
She gonna get me. I feel the text coming. I can feel it in my spirit. I can feel the text coming.
Because Stokely is the dude, but me going back and being more historical about things, I've always felt like Stokely was the R&B version of Tonek.
I can definitely see that. Oh yeah.
I can see it.
And has a more range and will be more wild on the mic, but you're looking at pretty much the same singer.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, and I mean, Mint Condition is one of them shows where you never get the same show twice. You know, he's gonna do something vocally crazy. He's gonna speed up, slow down, chop and screw. You know, the way they work together when he working solo or with the band. I mean, it's just awesome. I mean, who's that?
Stokely can sit on drums and tear you.
Oh yeah.
They used to do 2 at a time and just kill it. Kill it. Look. Sherry talking about yes, indeed. And the Lord still loves me. Hey, listen, if y'all have any questions for Jody before we slide out, make sure you type it. If you have any questions for Jody, we're gonna get your 2 names down, Tammy and Desiree. We want you to we'll get your information. If you can send your sizes to us at religiouslyincorrectpodcast@gmail.com. Tammy and Desiree have won.
Right there. Write it down. It's a long one.
Courtesy of Big L Designs.
Yes, sir.
And Religiously Incorrect Podcast. Big L is blessing these 2 wonderful, beautiful young ladies, and also big JDZ fans and collaborators. Apparently, one of them's already collaborated. She got the inside track with her daddy. but email
even deeper, because later this summer, man, she and I did a Smokey Robinson cut cruising, and she killed it. So
wow. Where you gonna be at, man? Are you going out anywhere? You gonna be anywhere? We can come check you out.
There's a few shows that'll be like in the area. But my plan is that because I have a little fashion line that's budding. So I will probably wind up in California for a couple things, and I'll be working on new music coming out later in the year. So wherever that takes me is where I'll be. Like if it doesn't take me anywhere, fine. But I do plan on being some places with the new crew.
Well, my intention. I have some celebrations coming up this year, and we had the Matt Corey band. Well, actually, Gentillectual was the appropriate name for that night. They performed at our 105th anniversary banquet. But here was my disappointment, and it happens all the time in church. We had so many presentations and things to get out the way that I didn't get. I mean, they gave us the groove, but I would have rather grooved than top.
Yeah.
So I'm gonna find a way to bring that back around and make it. I don't know. I got a 40th coming up. I got a 7-year anniversary coming up. I ain't having church. I'm having church for. You know what I'm not gonna do? Do not do a birthday musical for me. All the preachers doing birthday musicals. Bump that. I want a party. I want a stinking. I don't want to be up with no stank saints. You raising offerings for me. I'll charge you tickets. You come kick it with me.
Come on,
that's what I'd rather do.
Let's roll.
Because I mean, what I want.
I'm gonna be there dancing. Me and my son gonna be there.
Exactly. This cat be out there doing Michael Jackson spins and splits, everything. So I want to make something happen. But listen, to everybody who is watching tonight, I want you all to give it up for the man, the myth, the legend, soul nigga number 1, Jody Daniels.
Thank you. Jody. Thank you for the opportunity, man. I appreciate it.
Man, we love having you on. So what benefits you as an artist as we go? Because I want to plug the album. Okay. Do plays benefit you the most, or do purchases benefit you the most? How does that work now?
Purchases benefit the most. The problem is when people like the reason why it's absent from Spotify is Spotify pays me 0.0002 cents per spin.
Wow.
Show.
Same thing goes on with Apple Music. Like people buy their subscription to, Amazon Music, Apple and Spotify, whatever, Pandora. So they pay their $9 whatever a month, whatever it costs to have one. And every time you can spend my stuff 10,000 times, but all they're ever going to pay me for each spin is 0.0002 cents per spin.
Man, listen, when you see a local artist like JDZ out there doing it and you see some physical media you can buy it. If you can buy it direct, buy it direct. Absolutely. Cut out the middleman. Don't let Walmart jip you down, nothing like that. Buy it direct. He got some vinyls going to drop. I'm going to cop me one for my collection. When it drops, we're going to be sharing it on our page and letting people know to check out one of the hottest musicians, not just in the area and the region, but in the country. And he's a gift. We have musical royalty that comes from this area.
Absolutely.
And Jody,
yes,
believe it or not, you're a part of it, man. You're a part of it. There's a lot of great guys that have come from and are coming up in this area, and you're always there. And it's a pleasure to have you. One more time, let's give it up for Jody Daniels. Right quick.
Thank you.
We want to thank our last sponsor, Phillips Care Fitness, who are now the owners of High Street Fitness in Cortland. Yes, you can drive to Cortland without getting pulled over, as long as you tell them you're on your way to Phillips Care Fitness on High Street. Call my man Mike Phillips. Check out Phillips Care Fitness on Facebook. Tell them Religiously Incorrect sent you. Listen, we know you've been doing some pandemic eating. Get your body right. Don't be out there spilling over. Don't be out there on the beach with your cup runneth over.
And don't be going down there to Planet Fitness where they charge you $1 a day
to get on a purple treadmill.
And then they got donuts out there for you when you get in. Come on, man. Go see our boy.
Go check out Mike Phillips and the Phillips Care family of businesses. We thank you for being our sponsors. Mike, what you want to say before we go?
Jody, thank you so much for coming on, man. Appreciate you taking out the time, coming out to hang out with us. To all of our faithful viewers, we appreciate your support. To the new viewers, we do this every Sunday night.
We act a fool.
8 p.m. Sunday night service. We go live on Facebook and YouTube. Check us out.
Listen, follow us on Instagram, Twitter, wherever you listen to your podcast. You want to ride in the car and you want to laugh, clown with us. Make sure you check us out. It's Sunday night service, y'all. 8:00. We're going to have Jody hang out with us for a second. So don't log off. We'll take you out, but don't log off. But to everybody else, peace out. West Side. Seriously.